Shadow of the Jurassic Highlands. The Jurassic Highlands stretched endlessly beneath a pale morning sky. Jagged cliffs rose like broken teeth from the earth, their stone faces carved by wind and time. Dense conifer forests filled the valleys below, and thin rivers cut silver paths through the rugged land. This was a harsh world, beautiful, dangerous, and unforgiving. From the shadows of the rocks, a predator watched. Sinraptor moved slowly along the cliff's edge, its powerful legs gripping the uneven ground with ease. Longer and leaner than many of the tyrants that would come after it, Sinraptor was built for speed and precision. Its narrow skull tilted slightly as sharp eyes scanned the valley below, tracking movement with silent focus. This was its domain. Below, a herd of large herbivores grazed cautiously near the tree line. They moved in tight formation, always alert. The air carried the scent of dust, pine, and distant rain. But beneath it all was the unmistakable rhythm of life that Sinraptor had learned to read since birth. The predator inhaled deeply. Something was wrong. The valley felt crowded. Sinraptor stepped forward, loose stones clattering down the cliffside. Its long tail balanced each careful movement. Scars marked its flanks, signs of past hunts and territorial clashes. This was not a young hunter learning its place. This was an experienced ruler, hardened by survival. A low rumble echoed from deep within its chest. Not a roar, but a warning sound. The forests below responded with sudden stillness. Birds took flight. Smaller predators vanished into cover. Sinraptor descended toward the valley, slipping between rocks and trees with practiced ease. As it reached the forest floor, the ground softened beneath its feet, thick with fallen needles and ancient soil, the gorge of clashing shadows. The river gorge cut through the Jurassic Highlands like a deep scar in the earth. Steep stone walls rose on either side, darkened by moisture and time. Water thundered below, crashing against rocks as mist drifted upward into the trees. The narrow pathways along the gorge were dangerous. One wrong step meant a fall into the roaring depths. Sinraptor moved silently along the upper edge, claws gripping stone as easily as soil. Its body stayed low, its head angled forward, eyes locked on the opposite ridge. The rival's scent was strong now, carried clearly by the damp air. Across the gorge, movement. Another large predator stepped into view, its form partially hidden by fog and hanging vines. It was heavily built, with thick legs and a broad chest, strong but slower. Its head lifted as it noticed Sinraptor, jaws parting in a low, vibrating growl that echoed through the gorge. The two predators froze. The roar of the river filled the silence between them. Sinraptor rose to its full height, stretching its neck and tail to display its length. Sunlight broke through the mist, highlighting the scars along its flanks. It did not roar immediately. It waited, letting its presence speak. The rival responded with a deep bellow, stamping one foot against the rock. Small stones fell into the gorge, vanishing into the white water below. This was no cautious intruder. This was a creature prepared to fight. Sinraptor moved first, forcing the rival to turn again and again. Each turn cost energy. Each misstep brought the rival closer to the edge. Mist swirled around them, hiding movements and distorting sound. Echoes of authority. The mist within the gorge slowly began to thin, revealing jagged rock walls glistening with moisture. The roar of the river softened into a steady, distant thunder. Sinraptor stood tall at the narrowest stretch of the path, its shadow stretching across the stone like a living barrier. The rival predator remained a short distance away, chest rising and falling in uneven breaths. Blood from shallow wounds mixed with damp dust along its flank. It did not charge. It did not roar. It waited. Sinraptor stepped forward with calm precision. Each movement was deliberate, measured, carrying the weight of authority. Its sharp eyes never left the rival, reading every shift in posture, every twitch of muscle. This was no longer a contest of speed or strength. This was judgment. The rival lowered its head slowly, tail dropping toward the ground. The aggressive tension that had once defined its presence dissolved into caution. It released a low, broken sound. Not a challenge, but an acknowledgement. Sinraptor responded with a short, sharp call that echoed against the cliffs. The sound was clear and commanding, resonating through the gorge like a verdict delivered by the land itself. You have tested the Highlands and failed. The rival turned its body slightly sideways, exposing its flank in a universal sign of submission. Its eyes avoided Sinraptor's gaze. The message was undeniable. Sinraptor circled once, close enough for the rival to feel its presence without contact. The predator's lean muscles moved smoothly beneath its hide, showing control rather than aggression. It did not strike. It did not rush. Strength had already been proven. For several long moments, neither moved. The gorge held its breath. Then Sinraptor stepped aside, opening a narrow path leading away from the cliffs and toward the lower forest trails. The meaning was clear. Guardian of the Jurassic Highlands. The sun began its descent behind the towering cliffs, painting the Jurassic Highlands in shades of gold and deep amber. Long shadows stretched across the ridges as Sinraptor emerged from the gorge and climbed toward higher ground. The land felt different now, lighter, calmer, as if it had exhaled after holding its breath. From the ridge's edge, Sinraptor looked out over its domain. The forests below spread like a vast green sea, broken only by winding rivers and open clearings where herds grazed cautiously. Life had already begun to return to its natural rhythm. The echo of conflict had faded, replaced by the steady pulse of survival. Sinraptor stood still, its lean body outlined against the glowing sky. Scars along its flanks caught the light, silent reminders of battles fought not for conquest, but for balance. It was not the largest predator of its time, but it was among the most precise. Its rule defined by intelligence and speed rather than brute force. A sharp call rang out from its throat, carrying across the highlands. It was not a roar of dominance, but a signal, a declaration that order remained intact. Below, smaller predators paused and retreated. Herbivores lifted their heads briefly, then returned to feeding. The land understood the message. As night approached, cool air swept across the cliffs. Stars began to appear, one by one, in the darkening sky. Sinraptor descended from the ridge and moved toward a familiar resting place among the rocks, where it could see without being seen. It lowered its body onto the stone, muscles relaxing while its senses stayed sharp. Even in rest, the guardian of the highlands remained vigilant. The Jurassic world was ancient and unforgiving, but for now, it was at peace. Above, the stars watched silently, as they had for countless ages. The gorge lay quiet, the forests endured, and the highlands remained under the watchful presence of Sinraptor. The Guardian's reign continued. Dance above the abyss. The gorge narrowed as Sinraptor led the rival forward, stone walls closing in on both sides. The air grew cooler here, heavy with mist and the constant thunder of water far below. The path beneath their feet was uneven. Cracked rock, loose gravel, and slick moss made every step a risk. Sinraptor thrived in this chaos. It moved with fluid precision, tail adjusting instantly to every shift in balance. The rival followed more cautiously now, its earlier aggression dulled by pain and uncertainty. Each step it took was heavier, louder, broadcasting its position. Sinraptor turned suddenly, feinting an attack. The rival lunged in response, jaws snapping hard. But Sinraptor was already gone, slipping sideways and forcing the rival to skid dangerously close to the edge. Pebbles rattled loose and vanished into the abyss below. For the first time, fear flickered. Sinraptor seized the moment. It darted forward, slashing again, this time across the rival's flank. The cut burned, shallow but sharp. The rival roared and swung wildly, but its strikes met only air. Sinraptor stayed just beyond reach, always moving, always watching. The gorge echoed with sound, roars, scraping claws, the endless rush of the river. Sinraptor slowed slightly, pretending to tire. Its breathing grew louder, its movements less sharp. This was deception. It had learned long ago that strength alone did not win battles. Confidence could be a weapon too. The rival took the bait. With a furious charge, it rushed forward, determined to crush its agile opponent. Sinraptor waited until the final instant, then leapt sideways and struck hard against the rival's shoulder, twisting its body with all its momentum. The rival stumbled. One foot slipped on moss-covered stone. For a terrifying second, its massive body tilted toward the gorge. It flailed wildly, claws scraping desperately for grip. The roar that erupted was no longer one of dominance. It was panic. Sinraptor did not push. It Sinraptor.